What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we are back to talk about the Kings of Napa, episode 3. And child, before we get this kicked off, look, Dana, I'm on your ass. I don't like you. But let's get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So the episode starts out with August calling Bridget, basically telling her, "Listen, can we work this thing out? There has to be a way where we can work this out together." And she just really wants her sister cuz back into her life, okay? And as she's leaving a message, because obviously Bridget ain't answered the damn phone because she ain't got no time for August, child, because she thinks that she is not in her corner at this moment, okay? Grace, a woman named Grace, comes riding up on the damn bike, child, like Dorothy in the damn Wizard of Oz, okay? Or the wicked witch on the bike when the house was blown away. So here she come riding up on the bike, child, and apparently she is a very, very good sommelier, okay? However they call that, or I think in the episode they called her a savant or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and get the proper terms for it. But she's a person that can cultivate wines. Like she can taste it, she can create different wines, if you will. She has a very special brand of tasting, okay? So she did a very good job with the company before, which I'm interested to figure out why the hell she don't work for the company no more. But I guess she's very passionate about it, and August is like begging her to create the dessert line that she needs to have, that's going to catapult the company into the winery into the next level, okay? So Grace agrees to do it. August had to bribe her because she told her she had some ring that Grace lost at some point, and August made it seem like she found the ring, but she ain't really find the ring. She done duplicated it some kind of way, and Grace knew that she did it. So anyway, moving right along, Grace, agrees to help her. Okay, and then Grace, now the next scene we see Grace, August, and Dana walking the winery. So Grace is kind of finding her bearings or whatever, and she's as she's doing that, she texts Dana all these things that she needs to create this ultimate blend that she's going to create for this dessert wine. And Dana, as they're walking, is saying, whatever my sister needs, I fully support her. I have her back. But as soon as she sends this list, this little motherfucking trader is like, yeah, no, we ain't buying none of this. We ain't got the money for this. You know what, August? Watch your spending, because whatever money she trying to spend is coming out of your pocket, okay? And I'm like, well, damn, Dana, why you so angry? You need Jesus. You need something, because it is just too much anger and such. I don't want to be politically incorrect, but you too angry. Okay, you need to calm down. You need to get zen. You need a massage. You need to do some yoga, something, because you working my nerves. So I know you pissing August off. Okay, moving right along. Vanessa is like pruning her flowers in the front, and she's starting to look like maybe she's trying to find some normalcy. So Christian comes over and he's talking to her, and he's like, hey mom, how you doing? You look good. Seem like you're trying to get into your regiment again. And then then he sees an empty bottle of wine and she done chug a lug. So I'm like, well, is this normal? Is this what she do all the time? Y'all do own a winery? I don't know. But then we learn in this scene that Christian has bipolar disease, which is very interesting, that they introduced that about him. That's another different factor of him that we are learning about. And he assures his mom that, despite him being different, he really wants to work hard to make sure that the winery produces and that they get what they need to get out of, the new things that August is trying to introduce to the winery. And that he just really wants to be he wants to do his part as part of the family and part of the team to make sure that the winery progresses. So I think that he's just really learning his way and how to be a leader with everyone at the winery that's under him, or whatever the case may be. So I'm interested to see how Christian grows. Okay. So in the next scene, August and Dana meet with Quincy. Quincy is one of Dana's frat brothers, and apparently he's supposed to come in and help them figure out who this daggone extortionist is, child, that's trying to take all their daggone money. So they tell Dana tells Quincy, listen, we need you to help us figure out who's extorting this money from us. And he's like, oh, extortion. I'm gonna have to add another $1,000. I'm like, well, goddamn, they already getting extorted. What make you think they got some extra money to be giving you, Quincy? I don't understand. And if you're supposed to be friends with Dana, why would you try to extort him as well? Are you the extortionist? Is it you? I don't know at this point, because it seemed like everybody trying to get a piece of the kings, and it's just getting ridiculous. I'm like, wow, y'all need to find somebody else, because this right here, I ain't with it. But anyway, I don't know if they're gonna pay him or what, but it just seemed like everybody trying to get into the king's pockets. If it ain't the aunt with the $10 million, now it's Quincy with the security, then it's Grace with all these high prices of ingredients for the dessert wine. The kings just can't catch a daggone break, child. It's just too much. It's team too much with not enough money. Okay. So in the next scene, August stretching and doing yoga with her friend Maddie, child, and Kelvin comes walking up in there with his fine ass, okay? And he's like, you embarrassed me, right? You signed the paper saying that you're going to give Bridget her job back, but your old reneging didn't give her job back. So what are you doing? What are we gonna do here? Because you made an agreement, you're not sticking to it. So you're making it look like I'm not doing my job. So August is like, oh, can I make it up to you over drinks? I would have been like, look here a little bit. No, you ain't got enough wine in this winery to make it up for my reputation. Okay. But I guess it seems like he's trying to get in them skins. So I guess him going out to dinner with her was enough. So he's like, listen, if we're gonna be out doing the daggone thing and hanging out with each other, we need to be honest with each other. And we need to be very upfront and open about what's going on, okay, and how each other feels. And she's like, okay, we can do that, but let's go ahead and try to give this thing a go. And she was like, listen, I would never try to hurt you or embarrass you. The only reason I did what I did is because my mother is literally going crazy over all of this stuff that's going on. Which I'm just like, Vanessa is doing the most. And I don't even know why she has so much control, because riddle me this, Batman, the will read out what everybody else has responsibilities. Her only responsibility was his wife. So she's not the president of the company. I don't understand why she even has any control over what's going on, or why she thinks she has any control. She shouldn't be saying anything about who's working at the winery. She doesn't really have any say. Yeah, she has some shares in the company, but she doesn't control who works there. So I really don't understand why August is even letting her tell her who can work at the winery, meaning Bridget, or the rest of the things we're going to talk about that Vanessa tries to have control over in the episode. But anyway, moving right along. Vanessa goes into Reginald's office because she's spiraling again at this point, and now she's trying to put whatever password that comes to her Peasley head to put in that computer to figure out what the hell Reginald and her daggone sister Melanie was doing. She's like, what were y'all doing? How long were you screwing my husband? What's going on? And I'm like, girl, why you think that he gonna put this on his business computer? What you think you're gonna find in this computer, lady? So obviously she ain't figured the passwords out. So she go crazy and run out the dang office like she gonna figure out where it's at, somewhere in the universe. So in the next scene, Bridget is seen stopping by the winery, and she is, open to looking for different jobs at this point. But I think she comes by because she really wants to make sure that it's really a done deal at the King's Winery. And she runs into Rose, Dana's wife. So they're kind of chit-chatting back and forth. And, Rose is just encouraging Bridget to just go ahead and do whatever she needs to do that's best for her. And Bridget kind of does the same. So they're kind of like having a back and forth conversation, cultivating a new relationship between the both of them. And Rose kind of brings up, she's like, if you and August were supposed to be so daggone close, then she didn't have your back. So why are you sitting up here trying to have hers, or trying to still work here? Do what's best for you. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I feel like Rose is being an instigator, because August did not want to fire Bridget. Her mother forced her to do that. Basically, her mom was like, if you don't fire Bridget, I'm going to get everybody to vote you out as president, which is messed up. Because to be somebody's mother and to be that vindictive because you that butt hurt over your husband's uh infidelity with your sister, that has nothing to do with Bridget. Bridget didn't ask to be here. So I just think that that's real petty of her mother, and she's ultimately the reason why Bridget and August have this strife in their relationship right now. But the biggest thing for me is I don't understand why Bridget doesn't see that Vanessa is really the reason why they're not, able to be as close as they were before. Or Vanessa is the reason why August had her, fired or whatever. It's not August. And August is always trying to have her back. And she's still to this day trying to figure out how to get Bridget back in there. So anyway, moving right along. Quincy asked Yvette what was the key to Reginald's success, because Quincy and Yvette are walking around the house, and he's just he done told them that he's the lead of security at this point, so everybody thinks that's what his job is. And she said he worked his tail off and started telling him, she said Reginald pretty much worked his tail off. And then she started telling him how her wig business became so successful. Then he randomly gave her a damn chocolate bar, which I was like, did this have a recording device in it or something? Like, what was the significance of this chocolate bar? I'm not understanding. And he's like, rolling this yo-yo the whole time. And I'm like, are you recording I don't understand, MacGyver. What in the hell are you doing? Okay. All right, Quincy. Your little tactics are a little strange, but I hope it gets somewhere. So then they stop to look at a piece of art, and Yvette says Reginald and a collector almost went to blows over it. Basically, I guess Reginald wanted it so bad that he was going to stop at nothing to get it. And then she says, but he was a good person, but he could be an a-hole if he wanted to be. Then she says Reginald had a major blow up with a distributor that Reggie was keen on trying to destroy and make him bankrupt. So I'm like, I don't know why they didn't pick up on her saying that, because even when he talked to August after this, because August asked him, she immediately walked up on them after that. And she was like, you have any prospects of who could be embezzling money trying to shake us down for money? And he gives her 3 examples. One of them was a surgeon. Somebody that sued them, and Larry Samuels, which was a person that was doing some Ponzi schemes, and Otis, the groundskeeper. I'm like, but why didn't anybody mention this person that Reginald pissed off or whatever? Because this distributor. I'm like, why wasn't this person on the list? So I feel like this may be the person that's extorting money from them, and we're gonna find that out later. But I don't know. I think it's Dana at this point, because his little angry behind. Who knows? But we'll see. So then he tells her, so once he tells her about the groundsperson, August says, Otis worships my dad. And Quincy says, I wouldn't be so sure about that. He talks about someone, then he talks about someone that sued him for malpractice, the person that sued them for malpractice or whatever, which was the other person we already talked about. So anyway, Dana fired Grace, which was the winemaker that August chose. And he was like, she's too expensive, so I'm going to be I have my own winemaker, and I'm bringing him in, and he's like half the cost of your person. And I'm like, why does he have to say everything so harshly? Like, for you to be so little, you got a lot of energy coming out of you. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand the anger coming up out of Dana. I'm gonna need him to have some happy moments. I'm gonna need him to go to therapy and figure out what's going on with all this anger coming up out of his body. Okay. So August walks in and tells him to get rid of Preston. She's like, I think you forget that I'm the president of this company. Like, you can't just be making these decisions without talking to me first. And then Dana says, okay, let's have a wine off or something like that. I guess he's like, he's basically like, they need to sit down and have like a wine taste test where they all taste the different wines. And if his guy wins, they're going to keep him. If her person wins, they'll keep Grace. So they're at this point trying to get rounding everybody up to say yes, to agree to each of their persons or whatever. So in the next scene, Vanessa goes to Bridget's house, banging on the door, yelling for Melanie to answer, saying what was going on, talking about what was going on with you and my husband. Who goes over somebody? First of all, Vanessa, ma'am, who goes over somebody's house and banging on the door saying silly stuff like this? What is your what in the wine? You must have drank a whole case before you went over here. And who drove you over here? Because clearly this is not the behavior of a person that is not drunk. Okay. So moving right along, as she banging on the door, acting like a mad woman, some white lady was walking by, jogging down the street and saw her and ran away because she's like, what's going on? Neighborhood watch? I'm telling you, you look like you're trying to break in. I'm about to call somebody. That's what it looked like she was giving. So Vanessa finds a window that's open and she goes in. And so she goes on to Melanie's computer and she sees a rather poorly put together picture, if I might add, of Reginald, Melanie, and a younger Bridget in the picture. And she's like, you said you don't like sand because you hate the way it feels on your toes or something like that. Because apparently Reginald told her that. And that's why he didn't want to go to the beach with her when all actuality, he been going to the beach with Melanie and Bridget. Okay. So she hears Bridget and Yvette coming in. So she hurries up and hides in the closet. And Bridget and Yvette and she hears Melanie and Yvette coming. So she goes in the closet. So Melanie and Yvette are in Melanie's room talking. And she's like, Yvette's talking about, yeah, Bridget, that girl's something else. I wouldn't be surprised if y'all made her at my house. Basically, insinuating that them two was getting on some serious rump sessions at her house. Okay. So she was a part of the tomfoolery of them getting together. And so moving right along, Vanessa hears all of this stuff. So now she knows that Yvette pretty much knew what was going on. So in the next scene, Dana is talking to his wife, Rose, and says they need to make a cheaper dessert wine before the family goes bankrupt. And Rose asks, what's unique about this cheap blend besides the fact that it's cheap? And, he's encouraging her to just root for him and don't worry about anything else. Basically, like, don't question me, just follow me blindly. And I'm like, you're not leading the wife right. Okay, that ain't right. To just follow you blindly and you look blind yourself. You don't even know what you're doing. Everything that you do is out of anger. It's not out of anything that's meaningful. There's no logic behind a lot of the things that Dana does. He's driven by emotion all the time. And Rose is like, yeah, I don't agree with what you're doing right now because wine and cheap don't go together. Okay. Especially as far as how it with putting ingredients together to create a wine. So in the next scene, August approaches Christian to basically this is where her and Dana are approaching everybody, asking them to vote for them for their individual wines. So in the next scene, Yvette encourages Christian and Dana to work together. They figure out if there's a tie on the wine vote. Hold on, why did I write that? Yvette encourages Christian and Dana to work together. Oh, okay. She's basically encouraging all of them to work together as a family. She's like, because Bridget gets the father's vote because of the fact that he is, he's now passed on. So now she's the default to the voting process because he would have, the father would have been, Reginald would have ultimately been the deciding factor. So now that falls on Bridget. Okay. So now August and Dana are going over Bridget's house trying to get her vote. And Bridget is like, I'm going to vote for what's the best wine. Y'all mofos ain't had no loyalty to me. You done made me lose my job and all this and the third. And then now you need me? And you think I'm going to be on your side? Oh, you done lost your daggone mind. I'm just going to pick whatever I want to pick at this point. And that's that on that. So she says she'll be there and she going to vote, but she ain't going to tell them who she going to pick. So next, Yvette and Vanessa are eating dinner, and it's like a whole spread at this table, like set for the family dinner, and the family ain't there. It's just Vanessa and Yvette. So Melanie, so she is moving. What does it say? She says Yvette was like, yeah, this is really good. Like, where's everybody? Blah, blah, blah. And Vanessa says, how does it feel to sell your soul? And Yvette's like, oh, my soul is intact. I'm doing quite all right. What you mean? What's up with you? What else is going on? And Vanessa's like, do you hear the movers? Yeah, that's the movers moving your stuff out of here because I know what you did last summer. Basically, she knows what happened with her and Reginald because she basically was like, I heard you and Melanie talking. And I'm like, girl, why did you think she was supposed to have more loyalty to you than her damn brother? That's That's her brother. You just, I mean, no shade. You just his wife. Now, as close as I am to my sister-in-law, I do not ever expect her to snitch on my husband to me. That's absolutely stupid. And any woman that thinks that your sister-in-law is going to snitch on their brother, especially when Yvette and Reginald were obviously super close. Hell, he even helped her build her business. He supported her. So why the hell would she snitch on her damn brother? Child, you really done lost your marbles. You must have had too many cases of wine before you went over that house and even set your mouth to put this dinner together to think you had a one up on her. I don't get it. So she moved all of Yvette's stuff out because she pissed, because she feels like she should have somehow had more loyalty to her than her own damn brother, which, child, whatever. So Yvette was like, well, I don't tell anything. I'm like the vault. I don't tell anybody's secrets. Like your secrets. I didn't tell about the property in Jamaica, and I never told anybody you wanted to abort Dana. And of course, Dana walks in while she gets spilling that tea. I'm like, oh Lord, this little angry ass motherfucker. There's more shit for him to be mad about. Here we go. So then in the next scene, Bridget and Rose are hanging out looking at Bridget's art. And Rose says she grew up as a bisexual woman, which I thought that was kind of weird that she brought that up. I'm like, are you and Bridget about to have some, lesbianist type of moments in upcoming scenes? Okay. So I don't know. But they really had this whole women empowerment conversation where Bridget was basically telling her, you need to use your voice. Like, stop letting people walk all over you. People meaning Dana. Like, you have your own mind. I didn't know that you had done all these things in your life. Like, apparently Rose has written books. She's done so many things before she even married Dana. And then Bridget tells her about her paintings and tells Rose, we've done all these amazing things. I want to see you using your voice more. Like, use your voice and speak up and do the things you love to do outside of this winery, especially if this is not something that you're like truly passionate about. Like, do what's best for you. Don't let nobody else steer your life in the direction that they want it to go in. So moving right along, August goes to dinner with Kelvin. They reminisce about her old pet peeves, and he knows her favorite books, child. Just kind of letting her know, I still know you. We see each other. I know. I be noticing you, and I know what you be doing. And then Kelvin says he would ask August for a nightcap, but she has a big vote for tomorrow, meaning everybody voting on the wine. So as they get up from the table, the extortionist calls August and tells her he sees her with Kelvin and she better have his money next month. I'm like, first of all, if your payment is not due, why are you calling? Why are you stalking me? You doing extra credit right now. Get out of my business. Don't worry about what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Anyway, in the next scene, Kelvin sends August a bunch of flowers and she talks to Otis. He assures her that so she asked him if there was anything that he noticed about Reginald that may have made him stressed out or anything like that. And he said he was only thing that he ever stressed about that he saw was which cigar he was going to smoke before he came out there and helped him in the vineyard. So he assures her he is going to do his best, even if it takes giving Christian tough love to make sure the harvest is perfect. And she calls Quincy and says, it's definitely not Otis. Otis loves my dad and he wouldn't do it. So I'm just like, oh, maybe it is Otis because he the one always on the grounds. And how the hell he see what everybody doing? I don't know who it is at this point, child. So anyway, Yvette and Melanie talk about Vanessa being in the closet and heard everything they said. And Bridget sees Yvette laying on her couch. She says, and so Yvette says, listen, it's only temporary. I'm not going to be here that long. Here's my thing. Why the hell do all of y'all live in that house? Yvette, you have a very successful wig company. Get your own house. Knock it off. You too damn grown to be living in a house with a bunch of people. I don't care how big this house is, okay? If I have a male suitor coming over in the middle of the night, you better be goddamn. I'm not about to walk past my niece and nephew's rooms. What in the green leaf is going on here? Anyway, Bridget says, well, she says it's only temporary. And Bridget says, well, this is my workspace and I have to go. I have an interview. So she goes, Vanessa goes to the office right before the time to vote. And Rose leads her to his office and leads her to Dana's office and says he won't come out because he said Vanessa was going to abort him. So Dana throwing a tantrum and he comes out pissed off at the mom. So Vanessa is like, her heart is breaking. She's like, I didn't mean this. I didn't mean it. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, you didn't abort him. Like, he's alive. Get out. Like, come on, Dana. Get over it. Come on now. So then Bridget meets with these two guys that own another winery, and she's basically interviewing for another job. And they wanted to know why she even left the King. She's like, "Isn't that your family?" They're like, "Isn't that your family? Why the hell you leave?" And she said, I just wanted to derive my own path and do my own thing." And they were like, okay. So I think they went on and hired her. So now she's going to move on and do something else. So now we come down to the vote for the wine. All right. Everybody, August and Dana give their individual pitches. And in the end, Christian, Yvette, and Rose vote for August. And Dana gets pissed at Rose because Rose was really the deciding factor. His mother voted for him and Bridget. First of all, his mom voted for him because she's, trying to get back in his good graces because he heard her say something about aborting him. And Bridget is just doing it to piss off August. Everybody know that cheap ass wine that he made didn't taste good, and the other people voted accordingly. Okay, so Dana gets all pissed off because at the end everybody voted and everybody just assumed that Rose was going to go with Dana. So Grace was like, "You guys, wait a minute." Y'all didn't even ask Rose what she wanted, what her vote was. Y'all just assumed that she going with Dana. Rose, what do you say? And Rose says, "Listen, at a marketing standpoint and getting this winery to the next level, August wine is the wine, hands down. It tastes good. It's amazing. All these great things." So Dana, of course, goes the hell off, which is the only emotion I've seen him have is anger. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I should have never married you. I knew it when I found you at that. You were never going to be nothing. I found you. I tried to help you out when I found you at that CK1 counter or whatever." I guess she was working at a perfume counter, so he trying to trash her and put her down. First of all, Dana, what you found was a very beautiful Black woman. Okay, let's be very clear. So you better shut your little mouth up, okay? Because you try to go on her. Have you seen yourself? Yeah, you better knock it the hell off, okay? Because you are like most other men that are not that attractive, okay? And you trying to make it seem like you came and swooped this woman off her feet and saved her life. Get the hell out of here. If she was working at a CK1 counter, I bet you she was selling the most perfume at that, or cologne at that damn counter. Okay? You need to embrace having a wonderful wife, not somebody that's just going to be a yes person. And he was like, "This family is about loyalty." And she said, "Yeah, loyalty and legacy." Which with this cheap ass wine that you about trying to make, that's not going to create legacy, and that's not going to give the leg up that this company obviously is yearning for, because you keep looking at the numbers and not the progression. The numbers are going to come if you do the things that it takes to progress the business. And if Dana will open up his mind and stop trying to be nasty to everybody and being angry all the time, then he would understand that. And let me not say that he's not attractive. I just think that his attitude makes him unattractive to me. It's just, don't come saying that you saved this woman at the CK counter. You have a beautiful wife. Don't so she only good for you when she's agreeing with you? Get it together, Dana. Cause you on my list. I don't like you. I'm just gonna say that, and that's that on that. So then Dana is seen in the next scene smoking a cigarette, living in his mama's house, child, because that's what you're doing. You're living in your mama's house. I don't give a damn how Greenleaf big it is. Okay, all y'all in your mama's house. Okay, get your own house. So anyway, he's sitting outside smoking a cigar and drinking, and he tells Quincy, "Yeah, find out whatever you can on my sister August. Yeah, I'm gonna take her down." First of all, Dana, you and your empty head. That's your sister. What makes you think that the rest of your family is going to be like, "Yes, we want to take August down too. Great job, Dana, for taking down your sister." Really? Come on, writers. We got to do better with this, because The whole sister brother rivalry thing, I could see if August was an irresponsible person, but she don't really even seem like she got no skeletons in her closet. Like she don't do nothing but work, hang out with her little friends, and appease her mama. Like what the heck is she really got going on in her life besides trying to put out all these fires that her father has ignited for her once he's passed away? Dana, use your head. I'm sure there's not much brain in there because from the way you're acting, but trying to take down your own sister and thinking your family is going to be okay with that? No, sir. Mm-mm. Try again. Okay, because everybody just showed you how they really feel about you. Your own wife even voted against you for the wine. Get it together, Dana, because I'm about sick of you. Okay, I'm gonna need you to go another direction because this right here, I don't like this. Okay. Anyway, y'all, this has been my review of Kings of Napa. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that watches this show as well. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.